Welcome guys on E11's Forex Trading. My name is Elijah. So we'll be sharing our thought process on different pairs that we'll be taking a look at this coming week. So we'll be taking a look at today GBPNZD, GBPAUD, EURNZD, EURAUD, or maybe lastly we may take a look at EURNZD. So it will depend on the time. So awesome guys, let's get into it. So yes guys, we'll be taking a look at GBPNZD. We'll be taking a look at from a monthly time frame. So we'll take a look at GBPNZD from a monthly time frame. So from our time frame perspective, GBPUSD has been forming some, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and continuing to the downside. So the overall trend for this GBPNZD is to the downside. Okay, so around here GBPNZD was on this bullish trend here. So it finally broke previous 3 months. It finally broke this trend line to the upside. Now probably a new trend to the downside might be starting, or GBPNZD might try to go test that area. But for now, this trend which was holding for some months, it finally got broken. But there's a lot of pressure here trying to want to push price back, but it's being held by this downtrend, a mini downtrend there. So let's take a look at a weekly time frame. On a weekly time frame, as you can see, this trend here, it is finally broken. So now GBPNZD is trading below this trend line, and also below this downtrend. So it's trading below this uptrend, trend line, and it's trading below this trend line. So GBPNZD is trading around this area. So what we anticipate here, from a high time frame perspective, is that probably GBPNZD here might be forming something like this. Might be forming from a weekly perspective. We might be seeing something like we might be seeing something like a an M formation. We might be seeing something like an M formation, and GBPNZD continue to the downside, just like that. So what might be forming here is an M formation. So and continue to the downside. If now GBPNZD doesn't break this downtrend here, an M formation or double top might be forming, then continuing to the downside. Okay, so we anticipate that around this area, GBPNZD may drop, and then if there's a break around this area, you can capitalize also on a second opportunity to the downside. So around this area, if GBPNZD doesn't break, we'll take a short to the downside. We'll be taking some sells to the downside, not taking from a high time frame perspective. High time frame is just to give us direction, but we'll go down to 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame, or and 30 minutes, 50 minutes. That's where we execute our entries, and then we begin to move with this trade to the downside as price continue to show us. So from there will be our first entries there from lower time frame, like 30 minutes, your 1 hour, 4 hour there, and then we continue with it around this area to the neckline here. Probably that will be your area of first take profit or scaling in. If now price break and retest, then you will scale in, continue with price to the downside. So this is just a direction which you are looking at from a high time frame on GBPNZD. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. So as you can see from a daily time frame here, price is trading below this area. So we still anticipate that price, if price doesn't break this level here, we see our first touch there, our second touch there. This may be our third touch around this area. So around this area here, there's our, we can just say here around this area there was our touch here. Around this area we can say there's our touch here, our first touch there, probably our second touch there. Around this area maybe there's our third touch, around this area, and then price drop. So we expect something like an M formation, then drop to downside, retest, continue. So around this area from 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes time frame, that's where we'll execute the trade, and then we'll push with it to this level here, to the level at 1.86443 area. So around this area, that's where probably if you are swinging, this will be your first take profit. And then, or if you want to scale in, you wait for a break and a retest, and then you scale in going to the downside based on those who swing, for weeks and, or months. But, on daily time frame, our first take profit will be around this area. On daily time frame, your first take profit will be there. Then, your final take profit will be around this area. Then you wait for a break and retest. Then you enter again your trades going to the downside, on a daily time frame like that. So if we go to the 4-hour time frame, as you can see on a 4-hour time frame, let me clear this out. Okay, we have seen from a hard time frame perspective, let me clear them out. So from a 4-hour time frame, from 4-hour time frame, price is still sitting on this support here. It's still sitting on this support, still having some challenge on this support. So price might go back, might be playing around this area. So if price plays around this area and doesn't break this level, so price doesn't break this level here, we expect that price may come here, form, price might come and form something like, a double top here, and then, continue, break, retest, forming, lower highs, lower lows, and then coming to the downside. So price might come, form something like a double top there or an M formation, and then push to the downside. It may go a little bit further, maybe to this level, then drop to the downside. So still anticipate that, GBP USD will be pushing, GBPNZD, will be pushing to the downside. If now price decide to break above here, that's where our first thought process, will be null and void. Then we'll be now taking a look at the buying opportunities if now price break above this trend line or this resistance area. But for now, we'll still be looking for opportunities to the downside. So our first thought processes on 4-hour time frame is still to the downside. Also from a hard time frame perspective, you take a look at the 1-hour time frame. Still on the 1-hour time frame, we anticipate that price may go back there and then shoot to the downside. So it may be playing around this area, around this area, and then drop to the downside. So from a 1-hour time frame, if price decide to come here, we'll take our entry. Then our first take profit will be around this area. First take profit will be around this area here. Our first take profit will be around this area of this neckline of this overextended M formation. So first take profit will be there. Then second take profit on 1-hour time frame, it will be on this area. If now we execute and take our entry around this area going to the downside. So that's our thought process on GBP NZD. Let's take a look at GBPAUD. Let's go to the hard time frame. From hard time frame perspective, as you can see, GBPNZD has been pushing to the downside. Then this was a deep correction. Now we expect that price may be pushing to the downside, probably to our 90%, probably to this area, probably to our 90% rule, or maybe 100%, So anticipate, since now this is a continuation pattern to the downside, this is a continuation pattern to the downside, and this continuation pattern has already been broken, from a monthly time frame perspective. So we anticipate that, GBPAUD will be pushing to the downside, continuing to these levels here at 1.57500 area. So this what is our thought process from monthly time frame perspective. And one other thing to take a look at, GBPAUD is forming something like is starting to form something like around this area. It's starting to form something like a head and shoulder. This is our left shoulder there, this is our right shoulder, around this area. So there's two confirmations so far that is showing us the price would drop to the downside from monthly time frame. We have this continuation pattern here, which now price is already broken to the downside. We have this head and shoulder, which is now starting to form. As you can see there, we have this head and shoulder that is starting to form there. Let's clear this illustration of a continuation pattern. So we leave only for now, we leave this one of head and shoulder. So as you can see, there's a head and shoulder there forming there. So what we're anticipating with this head and shoulder is the price will be pushing to downside, continuing like that until this area until this level there at 1.58, 500 areas, or 1.57, 500 areas around this area. So that's where we're anticipating that this price will reach this area there. So if price around this area come, then there may be a retracement, but that's our target around this area. Probably price might, if price then decide to break, we wait for a retest, we continue with price to the downside, depending on what will be happening. But price can decide to do anything it wants, but at the moment everything is showing that we are still bearish from a monthly time frame. Let's take a look at our weekly time frame. Let's clear these things out, as we've already illustrated from a weekly time frame. Let's clear some of these things out here. Let's clear some of these things out, just to make our charts a little bit, clean, not to be having many things here. So from this area here, price is still, is busy forming something like, consolidation. So price is still in this consolidation area. So price is still just consolidating within this region here. So price is consolidating within this region. So around this region here, price push, to the upside, push there. So anticipate that around this area there may be a drop here. So anticipate that price may go a little bit there and then drop, continuing to the downside, just like that. Or from here, price may decide to be dropping, this is our second thought process, continue. But overall, price will be now pushing to the downside. This is just consolidation, where now probably, is just accumulation area, where now more orders are being added to push this price down based on, the continuation pattern from a high time frame that is there. So probably around this area, there may be a skewed head and shoulder. There may be a skewed head and shoulder that is forming here. So there may be a skewed head and shoulders here. Let me just illustrate that. There might be something like a skewed head and shoulder. So this might be our head, around there, and this might be our shoulder around here, and this around here, there might be our right shoulder, that's the left shoulder, and then price continue pushing to the downside. Okay, so this may be a little bit skewed head and shoulder, which is not quite clean, but but overall this may be an accumulation area where now orders are being added to push price moving to the downside. Okay, so that's what we're anticipating. So let's take a look at from a daily time frame. So as you can take a look at from a daily time frame here, so let's clean some of these things out there. Let's clean some of these things out. As we clean some of these things out, so we are now on our daily time frame. We are now on our daily time frame here. So as you can take a look at from a daily time frame, this is a bearish engulfing pattern. So this bearish engulfing pattern engulf 1, 2, 3, probably 4 candles, 4 daily candle. So this is showing that price is still having more power to the downside. Wow, there was this bullish candle which was indicating a lot of pressure to the upside, but this was violated by sellers. Sellers are refusing that price should push up. So this was strong movement to the upside, but this movement has been violated by this bearish engulfing pattern, showing that there's still more pressure to the downside. Sellers are sitting around this area. So now, which means sellers are busy around this area. So there's a lot of strong sellers sitting around this area. They don't want price to be pushed, break above this area. So we'll now be, price may be playing around this area. And take a look at also, there's now a resistance area here. So it's still a little bit of a battle, around this area. There's still a resistance here, around this, a support. I mean, this was a resistance there. So price is still on support. That's why there was this strong bullish, pressure. So the buyers was very strong, but their buying were not quite strong to push. We expected that price will be pushing to the upside, but the sellers, they kicked in, forming a bearish engulfing pattern. So this may show that price may just decide to do this from a daily time frame. Price may come, break this level. We'll be looking for those opportunities going to the downside based from our high time frame perspective. Price might decide to go back a little bit there and then shoot downside. Okay, so this is what is our thought process from a daily time frame. on this GBPAUD. So let's take a look at from a 4-hour time frame. So as you can take a look from a 4-hour time frame, this was due to interest rates, this was due to news, this push to the upside here, it was due to news. So now price is still playing around this area until now price break. We anticipate that if price doesn't break to the downside, will be now moving, everything will be moving according to our analysis. But if price break above this area of strong sellers sitting there, then we'll then be looking of for buying. But for now, our biasness is still to the downside on this pair from a 4-hour time frame. Let's take a look at EURNZD, as we take a look from a monthly time frame. From a monthly time frame, as you can see, EURNZD has been to the upside. There was bullish, and then now this trend line got broken. So this trend line here got broken. Now price is pushing to the downside. So there's still more more pressure to the downside since this trend line is broken. So we anticipate that if this area here is cleared, if this area is cleared around these levels here, we anticipate that there will be strong movement to the downside. Okay, if this area is cleared, there will be strong movement to the downside. Our next targets will be around this area, will be around this region here. Our next target will be around this region here. Then final targets from a hard time frame will be around this region. So now price may be playing around this area. Price may decide to continue pushing, or price might decide to come and test again there. Then price break from a hard time frame, break to the downside, continue like that. So from here price may just either probably price come to this level before going to test there and then push to the downside. Okay, so this is our thought process from a hard time frame, monthly time frame. Price is still to the downside based on our price is broken this trend line to the upside. Okay, so now let's take a look at a weekly time frame. From weekly time frame, still we anticipate that price might decide to go to the downside. From a weekly time frame, we anticipate that price might also decide to go to the downside. But also there's something that also is forming quite here. This price is moving within this channel around this area. So price is moving within this channel here. So price may be moving within this channel, and so if price move within this channel, we anticipate that around this channel here, price may continue pushing like that, and then go back, test this level, and then pushing to the downside from monthly time frame, as we've explained. Okay, so that's our thought process from a weekly time frame. Daily time frame, as we can take a look at daily time frame, as you can see everything now from a daily time frame, there's some reversal candles here that are showing the price might push a little bit to the upside from a daily time frames. So price might push a little bit, continuing like that, come and test this level there, then push to the downside. Okay, or if now price doesn't do like that, then there may be price might come test this level again, then go back there and then push to the downside. Okay, let's take a look at a 4-hour time frame. So from now, from a 4-hour time frame, let's clear these things out here. Let's clear this out. So from a 4-hour time frame, as you can see, price is trading within this channel to the upside. It's trading within this channel here. So price is busy trading within this channel around this area. So as price is trading within this channel until this channel is broken, price may be trading here, trading around this area, and then drop. So price might do like this. Price might continue trading around this area, and then from there price drop, continue to the downside, and then maybe around this area price might decide to go back, test there, and then push to the downside, or price may continue to drop to the downside from there. Don't even go and test those region. Okay, 1-hour time frame still the same. Our price, we're waiting for a break and a continuation. This is a continuation pattern to the downside. Let's take a look at EURAUD. Let's take a look at from a monthly time frame. From monthly time frame, euro from monthly time frame here, our Euro AUD. From monthly time frame, Euro AUD is still above this trend line here, still above this trend line. So from monthly time frame, Euro AUD is still above this trend line. But take a look, there was strong bearish move here. This was just a deep correction or deep retracement. We still see that price might, from this area, we still expect that price probably this was just, a correction before price dropped to the downside. So, thought process is that price might break this level and then continue to the downside to this region here. We anticipate that price might also come and test these levels on this area. We anticipate that price might come to these areas here and test this region, okay, around this area here. We anticipate that price might break this area and continue to the downside, from a monthly time frame, but for the moment it's still trading within this channel, okay. So let's take a look at weekly time frame. As we take a look at the weekly time frame, or on EURNZD, Euro AUD, I mean. So price, this a bearish engulfing pattern is still showing pressure to the downside. So we still wait the price will break. Price may retrace a bit and then continue. So we still expect the price will be breaking this region, continue to the downside. Daily time frame. On the daily time frame, as you can see, the price has been pushing quite strongly here. So price also has been forming some continuation pattern, as you can see here. And there's a continuation pattern, around this uptrend, okay. So this continuation pattern shows, that price will be continuing to the downside within this trend line, okay. So price will be coming test this trend line or eventually break it, continue to the downside on a daily time frame, okay. From a 4-hour time frame, or 4-hour time frame, we anticipate that probably price might do like this. Price might, from this area go, price might, from here, price might, push, come and retest this area and then come test there, or eventually maybe break this level, consolidate to there, form, build up and then drop to the downside, okay, from a 4-hour time frame. And that's our thought process on the Euro AUD. So awesome, guys. This is our thought process on this different pair on GBPNZD, GBPAUD, EURNZD and Euro AUD. Awesome, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Awesome, guys. Till we meet on our next analysis. Remember, we are sharing our thought process. This for educational purpose. Awesome, guys. This is Elijah on E11 Forex Trading. Till we meet on our next analysis. Awesome, guys.